Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show. It is 7:35 on a Monday morning. You want to be starting something, right? It's kind of what Mike Muldrow did a few years ago as New York City Police Commissioner. He's got something started right now. As we talked this morning about security and safety in our community, and Mike Muldrow, our police commissioner here in New York City, joins us this morning. Commissioner, always an honor to have you on. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I know you're a pretty busy guy most of the time, but I remember when you got in a few years ago, and one of the things that stood out in my mind that you said to people was, instead of just being the people who are policed, you want to be those people who are part of the policing. And I always was kind of struck by that. I thought right there you said, hey, let's get together and work on this together. And I wanted you to talk a little bit more about, what are we doing right now in New York for safety in the community? And what are some of the things that you still need a lot of work on? And what are some of the initiatives here in 2025? I thought we based it around those three things this morning. So what are we doing right in New York right now in terms of all of us getting together and policing ourselves, so to speak?
I think what you're seeing in this community is, how would I put it, a true collision between proactivity and relationship. It's how our officers and people inside the system are working, and then the commitment that we're showing or putting towards actually having a connection with the community. And when you put those two things together, it's nothing short of magic. That is definitely bookended or earmarked then with the level of collaboration that's happening between the community, the powers or the systems that are in place, the department, and the people. It's really come together to be a recipe that I think is palatable for everyone, and the results speak for themselves.
Commissioner, you're a York City school grad. You know the area well. What are some of the collaborations that are happening now that maybe weren't happening as well or as much before? If you can point out maybe a specific example or two.
There's nothing short of the evidence is right, can be seen right in the GVI, the collaboration that is GVI. That's the group or gun violence intervention initiative that literally it's been in place for quite a long time, but it's how it's being done now, how it's being run now, where you actually have the partnership between the police department and the local law enforcement agencies. And that's the part that's been in place forever, the different departments and entities coming together. But the way it's now equal partnering with the community and the people themselves, with representation from the hospital, the WellSpan system, having the school district on board as equal partner, and the district attorney's office, the federal government, but then also the local clergy, and having that mixed in together with all of our local leaders and the people themselves. We have a team led by Tiff Lowe that's actually working hand in hand with these young people, and the extents and the lengths that she'll now go to, and this team and this program will go to connect with folks, is incredible. I mean, we literally have individuals, civilians that are working hand in hand with the police, and then teams that are actually going into the prison to speak with some of these same young folks to look to get everyone involved and get everybody that had been at risk making better choices. Yes. So I think GVI is definitely an example.
So everybody getting involved in all the various institutions that we deal with on a daily basis. I remember years ago, and people kind of threw their hands up and they said, there's like evidence of 37 gangs here in the city, and it was moving down from New York, down through Allentown, down to that corridor. And a lot of people were kind of feeling like, oh, my killings are up, drug dealing's up, all that. But now it sounds, and I hear this more and more about the community here in New York, and obviously connected with the county, that preventative, proactive, you're out in front of this stuff. You were talking about Ms. Lowe here a moment ago, and some of the work that's being done there, and yourself getting out among the people, and that people where they were maybe reticent before of jumping in and helping are now doing that on a much larger basis. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. That's a perfect a summation of what's going on. We have people that we're opening doors. We have people that are looking at things in a different way. We have the people that we're working with, our clients that are receiving the information in a new way. We have opportunities being created for folks. And at the end of the day, that's the opportunity is the great equalizer. Opportunity opens doors. Opportunity offers hope. Opportunity allows you to instill and encourage a sense of pride in the community. And that's what's happening.
Talking with Mike Muldrow this morning, New York City Police Commissioner. You've heard the same things I've heard over the years, Mike, where people said, I'm afraid to go down to downtown New York. I'm afraid to come down to the stadium. Or I'm afraid to come down to this restaurant or this bar, whatever. I use downtown New York all the time. I'm down here all the time, and I love it. But now that you probably bristle as a police commissioner whenever you hear someone say that, because I think there are some real efforts now to make this a much better place. And I watch people come down, like on First Friday, for example, people walking the streets, people going to the bars and the restaurants and all the various places we go to, the stadium and whatnot. So I think there has been a big change in that over the years. Am I wrong on that?
No, you have it, Gary. You nailed it on the head. It 4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, when I started, that was a daily occurrence. Having to manage perception. That was one of my biggest jobs, having to try to hear those whispers and have those conversations with people, selling them on why they should choose York. And it's funny because it's starting to get to be a far cry when you hear conversations like that anymore. What I'm hearing now when I'm stopped by people at church, or when I have a senior citizen stop me at a grocery store, or when one of these young boys wave at me and pull over and have a conversation at the side of their car, what I'm hearing from people now is that they love coming in, that they're proud of where they live, that they like the fact that the streets are quieter and the city is calmer. I had a young mother tell me the other day, and it actually brought me to tears. She let me know that she wanted to say thank you to me, because she said this was the first time in so many years that she actually let her kids walk home from school and didn't feel the need to have to actually pick them up anymore.
Wow.
That blows my mind. I mean, I'm choked up now thinking about it. That kind of stuff blows my mind. And it's reality. There's a new reality that's taking shape in York. You can look at our statistics. We're putting up numbers that rival Lancaster. And it's definitely something that everybody should be proud of, because it took everybody.
Mike, one of the things that you've done, I know, over the years, and I'm not blowing smoke at you because I've watched you do this, is the visibility. You're out there. You're walking the community. We're getting police out there again. We're getting people around who know the community. And isn't that kind of part of the crux of good community policing, where you're not only involving the people who are being policed, but getting them part of the whole crew? But more importantly, your police are getting out there, knowing the community. You're out there walking visibly around the community. You're holding meetings with people in the community to talk about what their needs and wants are. That's all part of it. That's all part of that proactive, preventative kind of policing, isn't it?
Absolutely. The good, the bad, the indifferent. People want to know that you're transparent. People want to know that you're there, that you're experiencing what they experience, that you see what they see, and that you value their input. And you can't do that from the back. You have to roll your car windows down. You have to pull over and get out and talk to people. You have to have those good, heartfelt conversations on front porches and in living rooms. And I can't ask that from the men and women that I lead unless I'm willing to do it myself.
There you go. So, new initiatives coming up in 2025. I know you're a guy who never rests. I read that somewhere. Time you don't rest very often, and you're always, we already conquered this territory. Let's move on to new ground. Sound like a coach, by the way. But what are some of the new initiatives in 2025 you're looking at here to help make York even a better place?
I'm excited at the success that we closed the year out on, but you're right. Like I don't rest on that. I don't believe in resting on your laurels. I'm a 5 hours of sleep a night type of guy, and that's because, as my friends and family always tell me, my brain is always moving. So I'm excited about our More Graduations, Less Funerals scholarship, as I was speaking before, about creating opportunities for people. Whether you're looking at things from a perspective of the left side of the aisle or the right side of the aisle, we can all recognize that things get better when people go to work. And that's what we're doing with the scholarship program. A couple of years ago, we set aside a couple dollars to be able to go to some of these young men that have been out there that have been making bad choices and actually say to them, hey, if you put your guns down, we'll give you a scholarship to go to hack on a workforce development in one of the workforce development programs. And we now to date have a few truckers. We have about 6 or 7 people that are in school currently, and scholarships are provided to both individuals who have been at risk, but also the family members of people who had lost due to some of the gun violence in the past. So that recognizes, I know I can't change what happened in the past, but what we can do is look to give them, the family members that are still here, opportunity. So we're excited about that. I'm really excited about what we're getting ready, what we're launching to do with a special program that we're starting to actually the Remember Me project, to actually highlight some of those cold case homicides that happened even before I got here, and really publicly sit down with the family members, hear them out, let the voices of the loved ones that they lost get out there while we solicit information from people so we can start to close some of those cases too. We're doing a great job with what's happening now, and we're doing a wonderful job preventing things moving forward. But now, since we have the time with the shooting slowed down, now we actually have the time to go back and start to make headway on some of those cold cases. I'm also really pumped, and I know my time may be short, but I'm also super pumped because we're a police department that's in the process of building a rec center. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we're able to, we've been able to do a good job rallying people together and getting financial support. And so we're looking to utilize that to build a rec center and people often laugh when I say that, because they're like, well, why are you trying to get in the rec center business? And I tell them I'm not. My goal is to provide free space so that individuals that run nonprofits and these young people in the community that are doing amazing things for our kids can come and have a place to actually offer free programs to youth without having to struggle with paying for the brick and mortar that so often drives them out of business. I'm also in the process of, I'm building a park. I'm pumped about that. We're actually going to make an addition to the police station. It'll be the first of its kind. We're framing it as an outdoor waiting space because we recognize that our police station has long been a location for child custody exchanges, court-ordered. It's also been a location for individuals that are selling products back and forth, public trade, and then also for kids after school, for parents that are waiting to pick them up. So what we're doing is we're actually building a pocket park on the front of the police station so that those individuals have a safe place to wait. And also, as for so many years, as I've watched parents come in to make police reports and they've had to bring their kids, I've often thought that it has to almost be traumatizing for these young people to witness their mother or their father make a police report and read and deal with the circumstances of whatever led them there. So we want to create this space that their kids can go outside and play under the watchful eye of the camera and a screen that they can see, but be able to go back out, just be able to go out front of our station and play with some equipment and maybe watch a kid's movie in the process. And I mean, I'm excited about stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm out of breath listening to all the things you're doing right now, and it's a great. It's a great agenda. I don't think we can try to do too much. I think all the things you're doing, all workable. I want to thank you for what you've done so far, and again, with people as the partners. Mike Muldrow, York City Police Commissioner, with us this morning. Commissioner, we'll look forward to continue to have dialogue the whole way along here on our show. Hope you'll be a regular guest, and I really appreciate you joining us here this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to coming back.
And thank you for all you're doing for the community right now, and let's keep up the great work out there. Thanks so much. Mike Muldrow, Police Commissioner of York City, here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. We're at 7:49.